Okay, what we want to do here is we want to update our homepage to recognize if the user is actually logged in. And when a user is logged in, on the right hand side of the navbar, we want to add a little welcome user message and give them a drop down of options to either go to their profile or to log out from the application. And that's what we'll look at doing next. So back to VS Code. And what we'll do is we'll head across to our homepage first of all. And what we want to do is get the logged in status of the user. Are they logged in or are they not logged in? And we can get that from our user store. So what we'll do is we'll say const user store equals use store. And because we're using the store, let's just add the observer so that we can observe any observables from there inside this component. And we'll wrap our function with the observer. And what we want to do is check to see if the user is actually logged in. So what we'll do is we'll say user store and we'll get the is logged in property, and then we'll use a ternary. So we'll add a question mark, open some parentheses, and inside here we want our header for welcome to reactivities, and we'll just paste this inside here. And we'll also add back in the button to go and take them to the activities if they are already logged in. So we'll wrap this in a fragment using the shortcut way of doing so. And underneath this header, let's just copy the button that we've got for our login and we'll paste it below the header. Let's just try reformatting. Almost successful. And we'll set the content to go to activities, and we'll change the link to say /activities. And then underneath this, if they're not logged in, we'll add the colon and open more parentheses. And we'll cut and paste our button to log in inside here. And once again, try reformatting. So if they are logged in, they'll see this button. If they're not logged in, then they're going to see this button effectively. And what we'll do is we'll also take care of the navbar. So let's open up the navbar.tsx. Now, once again, we're going to need to go and get some information from our user store. So what we'll do, we'll say const user store equals use store. And while we're here, we'll just destructure what we need from this. So we'll add a colon, open some more curly brackets, and what we want from this is our user object and the method to log out as well. And what we'll do, just below the menu item for creating an activity, we'll add another menu item. And what we'll do is we'll set this position equal to the right. And inside this menu item, we're going to add the user's image. So we'll bring in image from semantic UI, which never seems to work correctly. So let's just add this in manually to the top. We'll bring in image from semantic UI React as well. And the image source will set to the user.image. And VS Code has kindly put the optional chaining parameter there because the user object could be null based on the typings that we've given it. And we'll make this a type of avatar image, and we'll make it spaced equal to the right. And what we'll also do, if we don't actually have an image for the user, then what we'll do is we'll set it to our default placeholder image. So we'll add the or condition here, and we'll set this to assets/user.png. And below the image, we're going to add a dropdown. And of course, we get this from semantic UI as well. So we'll bring in dropdown. And we'll give this some properties, and we'll make it a pointing type of dropdown and set this equal to the top left. And we'll give it some text. And we'll set the text equal to user.displayname. And once again, VS Code has kindly put the optional chaining parameter in there. And then we'll add a couple of drop-down items here. So we'll say dropdown.item. And the first one we'll say as equals link. And we'll say to equals. And we'll add an expression here and backticks. And we'll add a root that we're going to add later on. But we'll specify profile and then / and then say $. And we'll say user.username. and we'll specify the text equal to my profile, and we'll give it an icon equal to user. And then we'll just add another drop-down item, and we'll give this one an on-click, and we'll set this to logout, and we'll make the text equal to logout, and we'll give it an icon equal to power. And before we forget, did I do it? No, I didn't. We would need to make this an observer as well, because we need to know if the user object has been updated in our store. So once again, we'll just add the observer, and we'll wrap our function as its parameter. So we should be good to go and test. So let's go back to our browser. And what I'll do is, just in our application here, let's just manually clear out the token from our storage, and let's go back to the home page, and we can see that we're not logged in, so we see our login button. So we'll click login, and it's telling us that we've got an issue here, and it's telling us invalid prop children of type array supplied to drop down. So I've made a mistake, apologies. Inside our drop down we should have another element inside here called dropdown.menu, and then our drop down items go inside the drop down menu. And let's try reformatting things inside here, and let's just bring down some of the properties that are falling off the screen, and this should resolve that particular problem. And if I go back, then we can see our login form again. Let's just refresh the page, and let's just go back to the home page. Ignore the fact we can see this here for now. We're not actually going to allow the users to get to our main content until they have logged in. Otherwise they're going to be stuck on this home page. So what we'll do is we'll click the login button. We'll try and log in as bob@test.com with the correct password and log in, and we load our app, we load the activities, and we can see Bob on the right hand side. Of course we'll see inside our local storage we're going to have our token inside there, and if we click log out, then we get taken back to the home page and our token disappears. And if we try this one more time and we log in as bob@test.com with the correct password, then what we should find, if we click on the home page, then we see the go to activities, and we can simply go backwards and forwards as a logged in user. The problem comes though is when we refresh our page. If I do something like this, for example, then we still load our activities because we're allowed to do so anonymously at the moment, but our login information has disappeared from the top right. What we haven't lost is our token. That still exists. And we can use this token from our local storage to persist the login if the user does have the temerity to refresh the page. And we'll take a look at how we can do that next.